Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you my thoughts and reasons why you should not pick up the iPhone 5s and the iPhone 6 Plus in 2019. Now, as a disclaimer, obviously it's your money, it's the choices you want to make in your life, but I'm here to tell you that if you want to get the best value out of your hard-earned cash, you're not going to get it from the iPhone 5s and the 6 Plus. So let's begin with the 5s. Now, the 5s came out all the way in 2013. In terms of iOS 13, let's address the big question all of us have right now. The iPhone 5s 100% is not going to get iOS 13 for sure. Now, the reason being, it's already got 6 versions of iOS updates, and Apple usually just gives the devices 5 years. So remember, this started out on iOS 7, it's right now on iOS 12. There's no way it's going to get iOS 13 at all. Also, another reason, iOS 13, we're expecting a lot of changes, and the iPhone 5s and its A7 chip just does not have the horsepower anymore to run iOS 13 smoothly. Also, the fact that it's coupled with just 1 GB of RAM in 2019, so multitasking is going to be a nightmare. It's already really bad, and if it gets iOS 13, it's going to be a really bad decision on Apple's part. Now, coming to current version of iOS, it's on iOS 12.3 beta 5, and performance is, it's just okay. You can't quite expect a lot right now with the 5S. You will encounter a lot of loading screens, a lot of times just like this. You just got to sit and wait. And yes, it has slowed down quite a bit. Now it's better, way better than it was on iOS 11. But looking ahead, you'll still encounter a lot of this waiting on many applications. And look at that, it's hung. So yeah, you will find things like that. Other than that, there's not quite a lot to talk about in terms of software. Otherwise, iOS 12 is pretty smooth. I'm just saying that you're going to start having a lot of this waiting with apps to start running and loading. And once you start loading apps into memory, things are going to start getting a bit slow. You will find apps reloading again, like the iTunes Store. And as you do this, the phone starts to heat up. I've just opened about 5 to 6 apps, and I can already feel it heating up right here. And after it starts heating up pretty badly, the battery life just takes a nosedive. So overall, the 5S isn't doing really well on iOS. In 2019, Apple is trying their best to optimize iOS 12 for the 5S, but there obviously comes a limit given how old this device is. Now, other than that, there's really not a lot of reasons why you should still hold on to the 5S. Even in terms of camera, it maxes out at 1080p. Remember, you have budget phones in 2019 that do 4K video. And the 5S, you also have a smaller battery in it, Touch ID first generation. It's really outdated for 2019. And this is just not worth picking up in 2019 anymore. Now, coming to the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, the iPhone 6 Plus came out in 2014, 1 year after the iPhone 5S. Now, it's got the Apple A8 chip. And again, it started to get outdated. Again, as I said, a chip, 1 GB of RAM, so it's not going to be able to get iOS 13. I'm 100% sure this phone will again be outdated. Will be left out by Apple from iOS 13. Again, remember, because it's got 5 versions of iOS. It started out on iOS 8. So there is really no way that this one is going to get iOS 13. Now, the difference between the A7 on the 5S and the A8 on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus was really negligible. It was really little bit. Yes, it was a bit faster and a bit smoother and all of that stuff, but other than that, there wasn't a lot of performance improvement from the 5S to the 6. Now, the 6 Plus, the only reason why I would hold on to my 6 Plus is because of the display. If you're someone who's liking to watch a lot of videos, the 6 Plus display, is still pretty good. It's 1080p at 5.5 inches. The display is still nice and pretty bright. Outdoor visibility is decent. But again, it comes down to performance. You will encounter a lot of this with third-party apps especially. And the older the device gets and the newer the apps become, you will encounter this loading blank screen a lot of times. And again, as I said, 1 GB of RAM, so multitasking is out the window, and this is really going to frustrate you as you use it day in and day out. Now, again, as I said, now in terms of camera, maxes out at 1080p, 8 megapixel in the back, 1.2 in the front, and nothing great. You still have Touch ID first generation, no 3D touch also. So you've actually got pretty outdated hardware on the 6 Plus. Again, in terms of software right now, iOS 12 is trying to do its best for the 6 Plus, but again, it's just 1 gigabyte of RAM, guys, and I'm really sorry to say, but it's just not going to cut it anymore. Now, if you look at the reasons why I say that iOS 13 is not going to support the 5S is according to a report, if you guys have seen it by now, there was a report released that the 6S and above will get iOS 13, but the SE will not get iOS 13. Now, the reason I feel that the SE will not get iOS 13 despite it having the same A9 chip as the 6S is because of that 4-inch display. Now, if you look at Apple's lineup right now, none of their devices have a 4-inch display. The smallest device in Apple's lineup is the iPhone 7 at 4.7 inches, and the largest is the XS Max at 6. So there is no point in there's no point for Apple to give a dedicated developer team to sit and optimize iOS 13 for a 4-inch display just for one iPhone SE. There's really no point. Apple might as well just update the iPhone SE to a newer form factor and optimize iOS 13 for that. So that's my reason why the SE is out of the supported devices. Again, don't take my word for it. Stay tuned till June. June 3rd is WWDC. That is the day we will come to know the official supported and unsupported devices. But I can guarantee you that the iPhone 5S and the 6 Plus will surely not get iOS 13. Now, also one more reason before I end the video is that if you guys are picking up either of these devices right now, you will not be able to make back the returns on your investment which you put in pick up these devices right now, because they're getting older, the values are depreciating even more, and you have budget phones that are better than both of these. So there's really no point picking up a 6 Plus or a 5S, even though they're really tempting. The price points are really tempting and you're getting Apple iOS, but still it's just not going to be worth it. In my frank opinion, if you guys are looking for an iPhone and if you're on a budget, then of course get the 6S or the 6S Plus, depending. Again, just wait till WWDC. I will keep you updated on that for sure. But the best value iPhone right now is the iPhone 7, especially for those of you who are on a budget. For those of you who can stretch, who are able to finance, then the iPhone XR is still the best one. But for those of you on a budget, the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus are still really, really great phones, and those are the iPhones you need to pick up in 2019 if you want the best value for your hard-earned cash. So that's it, guys. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you did not, the other one's also fine. And stay tuned to the channel. Do subscribe. I will keep you guys updated on iOS 13 and on all the news regarding the older devices, the newer devices, and all of that interesting good stuff. Also stay tuned, because we will be making a dedicated video to say one final goodbye for the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 6 Plus as their iOS support ends. So stay tuned for that. A lot more interesting stuff coming on the channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.